Good afternoon. Welcome to the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust meeting for January the 5th. We have a rather small agenda today, but the first item on it is the approval of the minutes from the meeting of December 15th.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes. Are there comments, questions, additions, corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Next item is the consent docket.
Move the consent docket subject to individual consideration.
Motion and a second to approve the consent docket. Are there matters to consider separately? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent docket's approved. Next item is item 4, which is the permanent and temporary easements, and it's the acceptance of a permanent easement near Southwest 15th and Council Road.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to accept the easement. Is there a comment? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The easement's accepted. Next item is the report. It's to receive the capital improvements program report, presentation, actually.
Mr. Chairman, Sam Samandi, our engineering manager, is here today to tell you about what the engineering staff is doing to prosecute your capital improvements program. They're very busy. They're accomplishing a lot. Sam?
Hello. My name is Sam Samandi, engineering manager for the utility. I'm here today to give you a brief presentation on what we're doing with the CIP program for the utilities. In this presentation, I'm going to cover a little bit about the basis of the program and then delve into the water portion of the CIP and the wastewater and go back and kind of summarize what we did with the AERA projects. The basis of the program, the driving force behind all of our CIP projects are, on the water side is the water master plan that was conducted in 2003 and the wastewater master plan that is conducted in 2009. In addition to those, we do an annual system review and add on and evaluate the projects, and if you need to modify the CIP, we'll update that. And also the big issue, another big issue for us is making sure that we are in regulatory compliance with our system. We start with the water CIP. This particular chart shows the city of Oklahoma City and essentially shows the projects that we've been completing for the past 6 to 9 months and the projects that we are in construction and what we're thinking about doing in the very near future on the in the design side of the CIP project. As this map shows, a lot of those blue dots are right in the center of Oklahoma City, and this is where most of the projects that are happening within the residential areas and rehab work that is being done. And another major aspect of this is the big water line, which we call the westward extension from Draper to west of Oklahoma City. Some of the major projects that we are pursuing that are in construction, for instance, is the Atoka Pumping Station Rehab Project. So far, it's like about $67 million worth of equipment and construction. Project started in 2009, last year about this time, and we're hoping that we'll have an early completion, hopefully by the end of this year. Project was scheduled to be completed sometime in August of 2011, but we're hoping to beat that by about 8 to 9 months. Other projects that we're thinking about doing is the consideration for the second Atoka pipeline. That we've started some of the work on that. And then also in consideration is the transfer of water from Draper to Hefner. Another major project that's ongoing currently is providing surge protection for the Draper water treatment plant. Hopefully this project will help us minimize breaks on the 72-inch pipeline, which in the past has given us a bit of trouble. And we hope that this would be completed sometime this year in the fall. Another major project is the what the work we're doing at the Hefner Water Treatment Plant. We've heard about this before in the previous presentation. We've done about $20 million worth of rehab work, which is currently in construction now. And the expansion itself will come hopefully sometime in the next 6 months, and we estimate that to be somewhere around $43 million, totaling somewhere around $63 million. This particular picture shows the rehab project that's ongoing. We're putting a new lime feed system at the plant. We're replacing an existing clear wells that was essentially dilapidated and had a lot of structural problems, and then also replacing the air system for the ozone feed system at the Hefner plant. Somewhere around $20 million worth of work. The expansion project itself, we're adding another clarifier to go from 75 MGD to about 100 MGD, and essentially adding a new carbonation system and adding more filtration to the plant. Around $43 million, we hope. As I alluded to this one, this is a major system project that we're doing, and it's the westward extension. This provides a 48-inch line parallel to the existing 72-inch line from Draper plant toward west of the town. We've done about 8.5 miles of it already, 3 more miles in construction, and we have 6 miles of it in design that we hope to get out sometime this year. This provides added flows and pressures to the system to the west of town. This particular graph shows it graphically where we've been. The green line on this drawing shows what we've completed, 8.5 miles. The blue line is the portion that's in construction now, and the red line is the one that is in design. And the idea is to get all of that line extended all the way to the west of the town. Another part of this project is building another booster station on this line. And we've also are in the process of rehabbing the booster station 9 that feeds the western side of town. It's a critical booster station for us. We've also not neglected doing work around the neighborhoods, because that's an important part of our work. We've done so far about 11 miles worth of water line replacement, and we have about close to 15 miles in construction. And out of that, $6.3 million of it came in relation to ERA projects. We have about another 8.5 miles in design that hopefully will get out the rest of the year this year. So, in summary, the major aspect of our jobs are making sure the Patoka pipeline is rehabbed on time, get it into service pretty quickly, and attend to our raw water transmission issues, and then also complete the improvements at Hefner and Draper, and continue with the transmission mains and replace all the neighborhood projects that we have to do. On the wastewater side, as you can see on this map, it shows generally the sewer sheds that are within Oklahoma City. We have 4 major sewer sheds corresponding to 4 major wastewater treatment plants, 3 up on the north side of town and 1 down south. This chart shows the projects that we are involved with, what we've done, and what we have in construction, and what we plan to do in the future. A lot of the rehab jobs, as one can probably predict, are mostly around the heart of the city, the older part of the city. We have already started the expansion project at the Chisholm plant. It's going from 5 to 10 MGD. It started last year, and we hope to have it completed by the end of this year. It costs about $16 million jobs, and there's a possible expansion as we get closer to have an agreement with the city of Edmond in the future. This shows generally the map of the plant and some of the construction pictures associated with the expansion. Another major important project that we have is providing wet weather protection for the South Canadian wastewater system. That project is in design and hopefully will be will be beginning the construction sometime this year in 2010. And it's estimated to be around $14 million. And there are other improvements that we're doing at the plants, like replacing valves and air lines and stuff like that. At Deer Creek, we're also doing some filter rehab work currently in construction, and we have future designs that we're going to be working on, adding on clarifiers to the plant. And we plan to do about $13 million in the next few years at the plant, worth of improvements. The same kind of scenario at the North Canadian plant. We currently have a clarifier that needs repair, and that's being done right now in construction, and additional improvement at the plant, totaling somewhere around $11.5 million. We're also attending to one of our biggest pump stations, Witcher Pump Station, replacing pumps, valves, those kinds of things. The pump station is getting a little older now, so it needs to be attended to. A good substantial amount of money has been allocated to take care of those issues. In addition to the plant work, we're doing a lot of interceptor work, relief lines that needs to be done. Notably, the Chisholm Creek Basin needed a lot of relief line. A lot of that stuff has been done. In the past 6 months, we've completed about 3.1 miles of it, and we've also done 2 more miles of relief line around mid-urban part of the city, around Southwest 15 and Rockwell area. And in what we have in progress right now is another 1.5 miles of the Chisholm Creek relief line from Northwest 150th to about Memorial Road, and about 3.5 or 3.7 miles of additional relief line all the way to the County Line Road. The driving force behind running the relief lines and the interceptors is rigid, dictated from the wastewater master plan, and our response to the consent order that we're under, that we have to comply with. All in all, we think we're going to spend somewhere around $36 million in the next 5 years building a lot of those improvements. In addition, we've done a lot of neighborhood work. We've completed in the past 6 months about 3 miles of residential area replacement. We have somewhere around a little over 12 miles of replacement in construction, and most of that stuff was really driven by our ability to get the ERA project underway, about $5 million worth of that. And we have a lot more projects in design that we could take advantage of if other avenues shows up later on. So in summary, we're doing major work at Chisholm, South Canadian, improvements at the other plants, building relief lines, and replacing sewer lines in the residential areas, neighborhoods. The next couple of slides just brings about a little summary over the ERA project, stimulus related. By requirements of the fund, we're supposed to put up signs around every one of these neighborhood projects. You'll see a couple of those on this slide. And we did 3 major projects on the water side of the ERA. One of those projects was this last phase of the 48-inch Westwood extension, which is in progress now. We awarded about $7.3 million worth of projects related to ERA. $2 million of that is loan forgiveness for Oklahoma City. On the wastewater side, 12.5 miles of sewer line, residential areas, totaling somewhere around $8.6 million. 1.7, we're hoping a little bit more than that would be given to us in terms of loan forgiveness. In summary, in the past 6 months, between July of 2009 and December of 2009, we have awarded or bid somewhere around $55 million. $40 million is related to the water side, and 14.7 to the wastewater, not including the $16 million that went to Chisholm plant expansion. Hopefully in the next 6 months, we'll work a little bit more and put out some more projects, somewhere around $83 million. Most of that probably has to do with the expansion at Hefner Water Treatment Plant and the work that we're going to do on the wastewater side on the South Canadian wet weather flow basin. That brings me to the end of this presentation. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Sam. It's a great report. A couple of quick questions. Did I understand you saying from your chart that actually we'll start work at the Hefner Water Treatment Plant sometime in the first half of this year?
Yes.
And your completion?
Our plan is to probably bid the project somewhere around April or May, and the actual construction might begin in July.
Okay. And will that construction be completed in calendar year 2010?
Our hope is that the construction will be completed within 18 months.
Okay.
After the beginning of the construction.
And I noticed in your plans there was no specific project associated with the line from Draper to Hefner.
Yeah, it's being evaluated to see the feasibility of that, and it's a function of the demands in the north part of town. So we're going back and evaluating as to when is the best time to do that, and is it better to have a raw water transmission line, or is it better to have a treated water transmission line? All of those questions are being evaluated at this time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions? Any further questions? Thanks.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is item 6A, which is a acceptance of a renewal of easements along the Atoka water line.
Move the item.
Have a motion and a second to approve the easements. Comments, questions?
Mr. Chairman, we've been pursuing permanent easements on the Atoka pipeline. We had 14 or 15 total that we were renewing at a 50-year expiration date. We were unable to prosecute this easement fast enough to be comfortable with meeting the deadline with a permanent easement. So we've chosen to go with another 50-year easement. We believe we can come back with modest additional expenditures of funds and get a permanent easement at the future. But this is bird in the hand versus an October deadline.
Okay. Any more comments, questions?
Mr. Chairman, I'd ask a question. This is not related to Sam's report directly, but we discussed earlier this morning a water main break in Greens. And do we have a history of higher than average or normal water main breaks in the Greens in other areas that we consider high pressure operation?
No. We've watched pressure very carefully and in fact are a little more concerned about fluctuation in pressure because that fatigues the metal in the pipe. That 20 pounds of pressure will do as much fatigue at 50 pounds as well at 100 pounds, theoretically at least. The pressure is generally higher in our system north of the Hefner plant. The land is served from land north of Hefner is served directly out of the Hefner plant pumping system. The Greens is downhill from the plant. The pressure is about 50 pounds higher than what we produce. It creates a gracious pressure if you want a hard shower and doesn't particularly generate more problems than elsewhere in the system.
Good, thank you.
Do we need to vote on this last item? We have a motion on item 6A. Do we have? Second. Have a motion and a second on item 6A. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Is there any new business? Comments?
Mr. Chairman, just one item that I know will be of interest to the trust. We're making an emergency sewer repair at Park and Robinson. We're issuing a press release today that says the worst case total time to keep that intersection closed is 4 weeks. We've made a temporary repair. There's no loss of sewage. But we felt in the downtown area this older main and larger main needed direct attention from a contractor to make certain there were no additional problems. Downey Construction is mobilizing to make that repair. I think it could be as fast as a week to 10 days, but we believe Practically, depending on what we find when we get in there, it could take 4 weeks before the road is back in service. Worst case, best case.
Any other comments? We're adjourned. Thank you.